gonna try filming like this today because I know the video quality is better, but I can't really see what's happening. Hopefully it's okay. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. I just got back from goat yoga, just some little Saturday morning goat yoga, put on some makeup, and I need to hydrate, so we have some Liquid Death, except this is their sparkling water in the flavor Convicted Melon. It's very tasty, I like it a lot. And yes, you heard me right, I just went to goat yoga.
I know it's
Came back, drank a smoothie, put on some makeup, and now we're gonna do some filming. For those of you that are part of the booktube community, the bookish community, you know that it is time for the mid-year book freakout tag, and so that is today's video. You guys are familiar with this, so let's just go. So the first one in this list is the best book you've read so far in 2023. And I have 4 I would like to talk about, which is a little excessive. Maybe I'll do the first 2. The first one will be Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This actually kind of also took me by surprise, but I picked this up not really hearing much about it, but I found out it was a Dragon War college, and so I was like, absolutely, I want to read that. It could be horrible, don't care, must read. And I loved it. 5 stars. I was actually pretty shocked that I loved it so much. I really did. I was kind of before the hype because I got to read it a little bit early. So I was like, man, I love this. And then everyone loved it and it just kind of blew up and was a thing, but I did love it. So that one for sure. And then Fireborn by Rosaria Munda. That was awesome too. Also dragons, and it's like a dragon riding military kind of academy. And that one was also fantastic. 5 stars. The politics, the tension, like between characters, and not necessarily a romantic way, but in a very devastating way. That was beautifully done. I can't wait to continue that series as well. Just very, very good. Another one that I didn't really expect to be 5 stars, even though I thought I would really like it, is City of Nightmares by Rebecca Schaeffer. That one was fantastic. It was really fun and funny, kind of, I've heard like Peaky Blinders-esque, just kind of, you know, like you're wearing a waistcoat, you're in New York. But that was just really interesting. I liked the magic system surrounding the nightmares and how she's going to continue that in book 2, which is the other half of the duology. For that one and Fourth Wing, the next one's coming out this year and I cannot wait to read them. Another one that I grabbed that I really, really loved was Frostblood by Ellie Blake. This is kind of on my backlist. It's not new and it was fantastic. I really enjoyed the elemental magic system and how the author decided to write the story. I felt was very unique, even though a lot of the like plot points or summaries of the book, you're like, okay, that's like been done before, so what? But it has. But I think the way the author wrote it was really interesting, the directions that she took it in. Also very good. I liked it a lot. Next is the best sequel you've read so far this year in 2023. I didn't grab like any of the books for the first question, but I'll try to do that from now on. One of them is Painted Devils. I just finished this recently and I did really like it. I think I liked this more than the first one, which was shocking to me because I thought it was a standalone. I thought it couldn't be that good, whatever, but I did really like Painted Devils. I also really enjoyed Brightheart by Emma Hamm. I've been wanting to continue the Dragon of Umbra series, and Brightheart was so good. I really, really, really liked it. So Brightheart, for sure. You can't really see it. It's over here. Maybe you can see it. I also really liked Howling Dark by Christopher Rocchio. I can't decide. I don't think I necessarily liked it more than the first one, but I did enjoy it, and it was a sequel. Next is a new release you haven't read yet, but want to get to. Goodness, so many. God Killer, which is right here by Hannah Kaner. A Spinster's Guide to Danger and Dukes by Amanda Collins. Dragonfall by R.L. Lamb, because this just sounds so cute, and it's also dragons. I'm just in my dragon era. I've always loved dragons, but I feel like there's a lot of books that have been coming out or ones that I'm getting to that were on my backlist that are dragons, and so I just need all the dragons, you know? Also, The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. This is a Sinbad retelling, and I was very interested in it and just haven't had the chance to grab it yet, and I would really like to get to this. Next is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year, which is just so many. A Curse for True Love, of course, because Stephanie Garber, I will read anything she writes. So A Curse for True Love is wrapping up the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, and so I'm desperately awaiting that. Iron Flame, of course, by Rebecca Yarros, because I have to know what happens after that cliffhanger in Fourth Wing. And I'm hearing people say that it's supposed to be like a 5-book series, and I don't know if my heart can take that, but we'll see. Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. I really enjoyed One Dark Window a lot. It was really unique magic system, so I'm anxious to get to that one. Cage of Dreams by Rebecca Schaeffer. Again, these are books that are wrapping up the duology, or the next installment is coming out the same year. That, in this case, it's wrapping up the duology, and I'm very anxious to see what Rebecca Schaeffer does with the things that happened in the events at the end of City of Nightmares. So Cage of Dreams, and The Gentleman's Gambit by Evie Dunmore, because it's the last book in the League of Extraordinary Women series, and I love that series so much. And it was supposed to come out in September, and now I'm seeing it's being pushed to December, so I'm hoping it does come out this year, because I desperately need to finish that series. Biggest disappointment. I would say 5 Survive by Holly Jackson for sure, because I loved A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and 5 Survive was just like, it was bad. It was a bad book, and I feel like that's pretty accurate to say. I know that's very objective, but did not like it. And also, very unfortunately, Revan by Drew Karpshin. I thought I would absolutely love this, and I did not, and that really took me by surprise, and it was very disappointing. So that one. Biggest surprise, Fourth Wing, honestly, was a really big surprise. I'm really trying not to repeat answers, but I know I'm going to. So Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, Frostblood by Ellie Blake, and also, which I've talked about those already a little bit, but also Broken Bonds by Jay Bree. I thought Broken Bonds would be kind of fun. I thought it would either traumatize me or it would be kind of fun, but I like really got sucked in with the first one, and that really surprised me and took me off guard. So I would say Broken Bonds for sure is one of the forerunners there, because I just didn't expect to love it, and I really did. It was like I had to pick up the next book, and that doesn't happen to me very often. Like, I want to pick it up, I'm very excited to, but it was like I had to in that moment. So that really was weird for me. So that one surprised me for sure. New favorite author. I would say this one's a little bit difficult to answer this year, because I haven't read the new authors I have read. I've only read like one of their books, a couple of their books maybe. Like, I wouldn't say Jay Bree is a new favorite author of mine, even though I did like Broken Bonds and Savage Bonds. The other two I wasn't so sure of, and I still finished the series. So a lot of them I haven't like Rebecca Yarros. I don't know, because I've only read one of her books. But kind of what I decided I was going to say for this was Rosaria Munda, because I was very pleased with how she wrote Fireborn and the way that she went about everything with balancing hard decisions with war and the politics of that. She studied political science, so it makes sense. So I think once I finish this trilogy out, I think I would read anything she writes, and I would just give it a shot. So I will say her, even though I don't like calling people my favorite author unless I've read a lot of their works. So I will say her. We'll see how that goes. Newest fictional crush, of course, Xaden Ryerson from Fourth Wing, right? I love Xaden. I also really, really love Liam from Fourth Wing. He was probably my favorite character. He was so cute and fun and just such a cool character. So I really liked him. And Abraxas from Brightheart. He's in the Dragon of Umbria series. He's a dragon, but he can shift into a human form. And he's just like the cinnamon roll amazing thing, and I love him so much. I would die for him. So Abraxas for sure. Newest favorite character, I can't really say this because it's not new, but Anakin Skywalker. He's obviously Star Wars and in movies and shows and stuff, but I was reading a lot of Star Wars books in May, and I got to read more about some Anakin stuff, and I just am in love with Anakin Skywalker. I'm in love with Anakin Skywalker, and I have a squish on Hayden Christensen, which is apparently like a crush, but you want to be their best friend. I would love to be Hayden Christensen's best friend. So Anakin Skywalker for sure. He's not new, but love him. And like I said, I really liked Liam from Fourth Wing. He was such a cool character. He was like funny, he was really strong, he was really sweet. He had a lot of like persecution around him and stuff, and he was just such a cool character. I really liked him a lot. And Taryn, of course, from Fourth Wing, the dragon. I love dragons so much and their personalities. Some other notable, I guess, favorite characters in series. In Broken Bonds, I would say my favorite's Atlas. I really like him. He's got a lot of tattoos, which is fun. I loved Lee from Fireborn. He was a really interesting character. And Elend. Elend from Mistborn. He was my favorite in the Mistborn book that I read, The Final Empire. So I really liked Elend. He was a really fun character as well. He's like a nobleman, but he was hilarious and different from the rest of them. So I really liked him as well. A book that made me cry. I don't really cry. I don't really cry in movies, TV, books, anything like that, really. So nothing. But I would say that Fourth Wing had me very upset at some events that happened towards the end of the book. And I get really emotional when I think about Anakin Skywalker. I know that sounds kind of silly, but it's because there's such deep-rooted nostalgia. And I grew up watching Star Wars, and so it's just like very near and dear to my heart. It's very close to me. It feels very, very personal. So whenever I talk about Anakin Skywalker or like Hayden Christensen or seeing any of those things happening, I get very emotional because I'm very attached to it. And it's just one of my things. So I would say like anytime something like that happens, I get emotional, but it's not like I'm reading a book and just getting emotional. It's because it's Star Wars and it's because it's Anakin, if that makes sense. A book that made me happy, also kind of an interesting question because like I don't get really sad when I'm reading books, but I also am reading a lot of books that I may laugh at, I may have enjoyment in, but I'm not necessarily reading them to make me happy because there's a lot of dark themes in them a lot of the times. But I would say one that did make me smile and laugh and be happy would be Brightheart by Emma Hamm. There's a couple of scenes just with Abraxas and Lorelai and just different things that are happening that just made me smile, made me really happy, made me kind of giddy, took me out of reality for a minute. And so this one made me pretty happy. Usually Stephanie Garber's books make me feel that way, but I haven't read one of those this year, obviously, because I'm waiting for A Curse for True Love. But that book did make me happy. Favorite book to movie adaptation I've seen so far this year. I honestly was trying to think of any adaptations I've seen so far, because I know there's a lot coming, right? So I'm excited for Dune Part 2. I'm excited for the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes movie coming out, but none of those have come out yet. I haven't finished season 2 of Shadow and Bone, but I really liked season 1 and I have not been the biggest fan of season 2, so it's not my favorite I've seen this year, right? I love watching Ben Barnes as the Darkling, but not my favorite. I've watched several Star Wars things, but those aren't like adaptations. I don't know, man. I did just watch The Little Mermaid, the new live action Little Mermaid. I really liked that. I don't know. I really enjoyed Hogwarts Legacy and Jedi Survivor, but there's not books about those. I don't know. I guess Shadow and Bone season 2 or The Little Mermaid is the only thing I have, kind of, even though I haven't really read The Little Mermaid. I don't know. Favorite video I've made so far this year. So I was looking back at my videos, and a lot of my videos are the same thing, right? Like TBRs, reviews, whatever. And I was trying to think, and I think what I decided was that I really enjoyed making my book recommendations for Star Wars characters, even though they're probably my worst performing videos on my channel. I loved making them. So it was really fun for me. So those are some of my favorites. And then, even though I don't think it was like the best video I've ever done, I really liked being able to do my Fourth Wing book review, because it was one of those times where I got approved for the audiobook early and was able to read it early and get a review up on the same day that the book released. And sometimes that's very hard for me to do because I just don't have access to the book, or I have access to the book when everybody else does and people read faster than me. So I was pretty proud that I got to have that up and ready for people when they wanted to look up reviews, and I think it did pretty well. So I was a little bit proud of that, so I liked that one. The Blind Shelf Book Challenge with John was also kind of fun, but those are just fun to do. The most beautiful book I've bought this year or been given. This is kind of hard because there are so many beautiful books in the world. I would say probably Godkiller by Hannah Kaner. The Illumicrate edition was very pretty. But then The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. This one's beautiful. The spine's beautiful. The pages. Under the Dust Jacket stunning. The Illumicrate edition of Song of Silver Flame Like Night by Emily Wen Zhao. The cover is beautiful, the edges are beautiful, but the naked hardcover is like absolutely stunning and it's celestial and beautiful. So absolutely this one. So there's a couple. Oh, also the bone ships, the broken binding bone ships. I've shown it on my broken binding unboxing, but that one's real pretty as well. I'll just kind of throw that one out there. You don't have to look at that one. And then what books do I really need to get to before the end of the year? Ha! So many. My anticipated releases for the year, whatever I've anticipated and put out in my video. And also my 23 books I need to read in 2023. So I'm not even going to put up pictures for all of these because there's so many. But I have it up here on my iPad, and so I'm just going to list them off because I have been working on this steadily, but I know I'm probably behind. So I need to get to The Hunger of the Gods by John Gwynne, The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, The Wicked King by Holly Black, The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah, A Gathering of Shadows, and A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab, because I really need to get to through the rest of the Shades of Magic series before Threads of Power comes out. A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer, Autumn of the Grimoire by J.L. Vampa. This is on my TBR for June, but Iron Gold by Pierce Brown, Wicked Be Villains by Megan McCall, Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes, and Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. Whoo! I've only read 8 of them. I'm currently working through, oh, and also The School for Good and Evil, Book 2, A World Without Princes by Soman Chinani. There's quite a few I need to get to. I am currently reading The Bladed Faith by David Dalglish, and I'm probably going to finish it soon. And then trying to do Iron Gold, but one of these months is probably just going to be me catching up with these books because I got a ways to go. So all of those, that's all the questions for this mid-year book freakout tag. I would love to hear your answers to any of these questions. It's a really fun time to just kind of get a baseline for what you've read this year, if it's been going well, if it's not been going well, kind of looking at your goals for the rest of the year. I know I need to do some catch up for a lot of things, but it's been a pretty good reading year so far. I probably had like 1 5-star a month. I don't think that's going to happen in June, but it's been pretty cool so far. I don't know if I've usually had that many high ratings, so cool. Well, thank you so much for watching, but that is it for today's video. Please comment down below and let me know what you thought of this video, if there were any surprises, if you agreed with anything. I would love to hear your thoughts as always. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time. Stay safe and caffeinated. Bye.